Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to today's Luna update for Monday, 14th of March. And it's been a while. I haven't been releasing the updates for Terra Luna at this point of time. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about the direction of Terra Luna and where we're looking to go. And is this a good time for it to continue to the upside or not? Now we're going to talk about everything in detail a little bit here. So first thing first, I just want to zoom out a little bit of Terra Luna. We want to see, I just want to see what the hell is going on with Terra Luna, okay? Because when you go for the bird's view, I like to call this one the bird's view, okay? You go in for the bird's view right there, and you want to look down here, and you want to see where are we coming from, the direction we came from, and where are we looking to go to, okay? So if we start off at the very basic here, down here right now, we already saw that there was a launch of Terra Luna right there. And it likes to make something known as is this a cup and handle? I don't think that's a cup and handle. We call this one a rounded bottom, okay? So it made a rounded bottom right there. And from here, it continued to the upside. So if you don't know anything about the rounded bottom, I'm going to tell you on Google. So here we are, and let's start in the rounded bottom right here, okay? So here we are with the rounded bottom, and it looks like a rounded curved bottom right there, and from here when you break out you continue to the upside. So it did something very similar to this, you can see, okay? So self-explanatory image right here. All you did is made that kind of a roundish pattern right here. Boom, you break to the upside and you continue. So the technical target was from the top of the middle there, from the neckline to the bottom right here, and you met the technical target, which you went up there to nearly $1.12, okay? All right, so Terra Luna has this habit sometimes of making some sort of an ascending triangle and not breaking to the downside, okay? So this was some sort of a you were making an ascending triangle right there, ascending wedge basically, which is a bearish pattern that you can break down and come here, but you didn't do that. You still continue to go to the upside. Now that's the first part of it, okay? Just a very brief history right there. All right, so the next thing that we saw Terra Luna doing is that you made some sort of a bump and run pattern. Now this one is not a rounded off, it's not really a rounded, even though it looks like a rounded bottom, but it's not really a rounded bottom, it's more of a bump and run. So this is bump and run right there. And if you don't know anything about bump and run, what I'm gonna do is again go to Google, and we're gonna search in for the bump and run pattern, just like that. And you're gonna see something very similar to this during a downtrend basically. Yeah, something like this one, okay? So when you go down here, you go down like that, and then you come back very quickly, cross the neckline, and then you go up. So it's called bump and run basically because all you do is actually you bump to the downside and then you start to run all of a sudden to the upside. That's the reason why they called it bump and then run to the upside, okay? So the next thing that we saw is that it continued flight and the shift to the upside, and even until now the current situation we're in here is this one. Now it loves to make some sort of a rounded bottom. Do you think this is a rounded bottom? I do think so. I do think so. I'm gonna tell you all the things that I see in this chart. Okay. Now, first of all, we had some sort of like a head and shoulder right there. Okay. So when you broke out of the head and shoulder, you met this technical. You didn't even go to the all technical target to the downside. I was expecting it to fall even way more down, but it didn't do that. Okay. So what you did here is from here you start to go like this, make a double bottom, shift to the upside. So is this a bump and run? Is this a bump and run, or is this a rounded bottom? It seems like like it is a bump and run basically. So let's say you have something like this right there. This was where you had the resistance previously, and look what you did. If you actually ignore all the other single thing, the neckline is something breaking. I'm gonna tell you everything you want to know. All right, so what you did here is you've already broken out of this place. You came here, you made a bump, right? So let's do this again. You bumped to the downside, you went up to run, back for the retest, and look, you're now continuing to go to the upside. Now, equally, I'm going to tell you one more thing as well, is that you have the 0.618, the golden ratio that you broke out of. So this was from the top to the bottom right here, and you had the 0.618, which we crossed, and that's the reason why I'm saying that previously in the videos, that this is normally a technical target, because when you cross the golden ratio, you look to attack this 1.618. Now, There's still one more issue, and I'm gonna tell you this one. Do you remember this head and shoulder? Right, so the first one is bump and run, and actually let me tell you the technical target out of a bump and run. So this is from the top to the bottom right there. This is where you broke out. At least I'm expecting $139. Okay, the near target $139. Let's confirm if this price is on the fibs as well. So you take the top here to the bottom right there, and yep, it seems like it's nearly between 1.414 and the 1.272. Okay, so far so good here. Now, the bullish side of it is the golden ratio we crossed and the bump and run that we've already crossed. What about the bearish side of it? Okay, the bearish side, I want to tell you. Do you remember this head and shoulder? This one right here. Okay, and before that, I just want to remove this line over here. And from that head and shoulders, ladies and gents, what we all we did is you went up, got rejected one time, you went up again, got rejected the second time, you went up like this. I don't know if you're gonna go near this level, which is gonna be $103. I'm expecting on the short-term frame, Terra Luna to actually go near this place here, but what you're gonna do here is you're potentially gonna put a rising wedge. Do you see that? This is some sort of a rising wedge, and this line can actually go on like this, and you're gonna have a bearish pattern that is called a rising wedge. Now, do you remember previously when I gave you the brief introduction? I didn't give you for no reason at all. The reason why I gave you that introduction in the beginning is because we did have one rising wedge here, and from this rising wedge we never really actually went to the downside. So sometimes you might get so bullish, you see that there was a rising wedge like this one, but you still didn't go to the downside. It broke to the upside. Why? Because of this rounded bottom. And if you look at the rounded bottom right there, once again you take the top to the bottom right here, and this is where you break out. You went all the way up to $1.12. Okay, you met the target, and then you still kept on going to the upside. Okay, so let's go back into today's chart right here. So this is the same rising wedge we're making. It is still a possibility that you actually break to the upside, but I'm not saying that you must buy into the idea that we're still gonna go up. You have to be careful because the RSI is very, very oversold, and you can still come back here to where you form the wedge. Now, let's say you do come back to where you form the wedge here. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. The reason why it's not a bad thing is when you take the top to the bottom again on the fib retracement, and if you do come to retrace down to the $74, then in my opinion you're still coming back to the golden ratio. Do you see that? You're still coming down to this golden ratio, and you're going to be putting something known as a double bottom. First bottom, second bottom, and then from here you actually go to the 1.618. So all of this is just possibility scenarios. Just go to tradingview.com, draw the lines the same way I'm drawing the lines for you. And some people think that why the hell don't they get the 1.618? Basically, you have to turn on the log scale down here. You see the log scale down there, and then from your fib settings, you want to click the fib retracement, go to the settings right there, and you're gonna see in the coordinates or the style, in my opinion, yeah, on the style you're gonna go down here to the fib levels based on log scale. Okay, turn that on, and once you do that, you just want to click OK, and you're gonna get the same retracement number. So that's it for today's Terra Luna update. So this is the first target right here if you're gonna be bullish once again to go to the upside. And this tells me one thing actually, that you might actually do something like this, go up there, and then potentially break to the downside. That's something possible. Or you can just continue to melt towards the upside, breaking out of a bearish pattern to continue right there. So I cannot say anything right now. I cannot say that it's going to break down or anything. We still need a clear breakout, backtest and fail, and then that's when you're going to break out until now. So that's it for Terra Luna update. If you guys want to learn technical analysis the way I did, you guys can watch the video. I do have a technical analysis course for you, a detailed course, more way overblown details, okay? Countless, endless hours of content out there so that you can learn how not to lose the next time. So that's it. I'm going to see you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.